The first step of basic pump operation is to prepare and load your feeding set. To prepare your feeding set, simply fill the feeding bag or spike the feeding container per your standard procedure. In order to achieve proper accuracy, the bottom of the feeding set bag must be 18 inches above the top of the feeding pump. Caution: failure to hang the set to the proper level can result in inaccurate system feeding. Once your feeding set is ready, press the power button on the lower right of the front panel to power up the pump. You have the option to either keep your previous settings or clear settings. The Keep Settings option will allow you to keep your previously programmed settings. The Clear Settings option will clear your previous settings and the volume fed from your previous feeding. Next, open the blue door to the feeding set loading area. Grasp the thumb tab on your feeding set and insert the tab directly into the left pocket of the loading set area. Press down firmly on the thumb tab and align with the white line to ensure it is seated. Grasp the black ring retainer and gently wrap the tubing counterclockwise around the rotor. Carefully pull the black retainer end upward to position it over the slot on the right, and then lower the retainer into the slot. Use caution not to overstretch the tubing. Close the blue door to the feeding set loading area. A pump set bag that has been emptied will trigger the feed arrow screen. In this condition, the pump set bag can be refilled to continue the feeding, but only after the pump set has been reprimed. To reprime the pump set, first disconnect the feeding line to the patient and then refill the bag. Then press Continue to begin running the pump. Press Hold. Press Adjust Settings. Press Prime Pump. Press Hold to prime the line. And press Done to return to the main menu. The Resume In feature is similar to the Keep Tube Open feature in that it allows for inactive time. Select the Resume In feature and the feeding pump will pause the delivery of feeding nutrition for a pre-programmed time of 30 minutes. To activate the Resume In feature, simply press Hold during the feeding cycle, then select Resume In. The pump display will show Resume In 30 minutes. Use the Adjust Settings feature to change any programming component during a feeding. To use this feature, select Hold while the pump is running. Select Adjust Settings to adjust all settings. Select Run to return to normal operations. Programming your pump for continuous mode is simple. The ATM-style interface uses on-screen prompts and arrow screens to set the flush volume and flush interval, as well as the speed of feed delivery, and if desired, the total volume to be delivered. To begin, select the Adjust Flush option in the opening menu. Press Flush Volume to define the volume per flush occurrence. Press the buttons to program the flush volume from 10 to 500 in increments of 1 milliliter. Separate arrows control the 100s, 10s, and 1s. Once you reach the desired flush volume, press Enter to exit. Press Flush Interval to define the time interval between the beginnings of each flush. Press the arrow buttons to program the time interval from 1 to 24 hours in increments of 1 hour. Once you reach the desired interval, press Enter to exit, and press Done to return to the main menu. Select the Adjust Feed option in the main menu. Press Feed Rate to define the rate of delivery. Press the buttons to program the rate from 1 to 400 in increments of 1 milliliter per hour. Separate arrows control the 100s, 10s, and 1s. Once you reach the desired feed rate, press Enter to exit the menu. If you'd like to set the total volume to be delivered, select VTBD and input the total volume to be delivered. Press the buttons to select the feed volume. Note, volume to be delivered is an optional feature. Only use the VTVD if you want the pump to stop and alarm once the set amount of formula has been delivered. Caution: when you're using the VTVD feature, do not turn the pump off during the feeding. This will result in an internal resetting of the volume to be delivered. Please use the hold, resume in, or KTO features as referenced in Advanced Features. Press Enter to exit. Programming your pump for intermittent mode is simple. The ATM-style interface uses on-screen prompts and arrow screens to program the bolus rate, the number of boluses, the volume per bolus, and the bolus interval. To begin, select the Adjust Flush option in the opening menu. Press Flush Volume to define the volume per flush occurrence. Use the arrow buttons to program the flush volume from 10 to 500 in increments of 1 milliliter. Separate arrows control the 100s, 10s, and 1s. Once you reach the desired flush volume, press Enter to exit. Press Flush Interval to define the time interval between the beginnings of each flush. Press the arrow buttons to program the time interval from 1 to 24 hours in increments of 1 hour. Once you reach the desired interval, press Enter to exit and press Done to return to the main menu. Next, select Adjust Bolus in the opening menu. Press Bolus Rate to define the rate of delivery. Press the arrow buttons to program the delivery rate from 1 to 400 in increments of 1 milliliter per hour. Separate arrows control the 100s, 10s, and 1s. Once you reach the desired rate of delivery, press Enter to exit. Press Number of boluses to define the total number of boluses to be delivered. Use the arrow buttons to program the number of boluses up to a maximum of 99. The number of boluses can be set at 0, in which case the pump will run until the bag is empty. Once you reach the desired number, press Enter to exit. Press Volume per bolus to define the volume to be delivered in each bolus. Press the buttons to program the volume per bolus from 1 to 1,000 milliliters in increments of 1 milliliter. Once you reach the desired volume, press Enter to exit. Finally, press Bolus Interval to define the time interval between the beginnings of bolus deliveries. Press the buttons to program the time interval between starts of bolus deliveries from 1 to 24 hours in increments of 1 hour. Once you reach the desired interval, press Enter to exit. Press Done to return to the home screen, and then select Run to begin operating the pump. The Keep Tube Open, or KTO feature, when activated, keeps the rotor of the pump moving at extremely low rates. The small amount of nutrition delivered ensures the patency of the tube is maintained. The KTO option will appear on the screen a few seconds after the Run button is pressed. To use this feature, simply press the KTO button. Note the KTO feature can be programmed from 5 to 240 minutes. Try setting it to 60 minutes. At the end of the program time, the pump will resume its normal operation. During the running mode, the pump can be diverted to immediately perform a flush on demand. Press Flush Now in the running menu. Press the buttons to program the volume to be immediately flushed. Press Enter to exit the menu. Setting the Flush Now volume is temporary and will not change the main flushing volume previously programmed. If Flush Now is accidentally pressed, the screen will return to the running screen after 10 seconds, provided that no input for the flush volume is entered. Note: Flush Now is only available in feed and flush mode.